My name is Mike Sorvillo. I'm here today with Wenjia. We're both product managers on the chat team. So before we even get into this, I just want to do a quick poll around the room. So raise your hands if you are an IT administrator, CIO, CTO, someone in charge of basically deploying G Suite out to your organization. All right, keep your hands up. Now continue keeping your hands up if you like when Google makes one of these large-scale changes. All right, only a few folks, only one person in the audience has their hand up. I'm surprised the rest of you did not bring pitchforks today. So look, we get it. These changes, they are incredibly challenging. They're challenging for you as IT professionals, right? Google announces something. You need to scramble to figure out how does it affect you, when will it affect you, how do you inform your users, how do you inform your help desk. It's hard for your users. They're going to come in one morning and something's going to be different. It's going to take them a day or two to get used to something, and along the way, they're going to complain to you about it, right? Which is not fun to deal with. And not to have a pity party, but this is hard for Google as well, right? When we have to make these really difficult decisions, we have this awesome responsibility to make sure all of this happens as seamless as humanly possible for both you and your users. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. We're going to talk about how we're transitioning you from Hangouts, which we're lovingly going to call Classic, or Classic Hangouts for the rest of the talk, how we're going to transition you from Classic over to Chat. First, I'm going to tell you what's new with Hangouts Chat. I'll comb through what changes are coming down your way as administrators. Then I'll talk through exactly how your users will experience this upgrade when it happens. Then at that point, you're going to have a few questions probably swirling around. We've heard some of those questions before, so Wenjia's going to answer some common questions that we've heard before you can even ask them. After that, Wenjia will talk about how we're going to recommend you deploy chat out to your organization, and then tell you how you can get an early start. So diving into it, what is new? So for background, in February 2018, we launched Chat, the next version of Hangouts. And Chat is really about three core things. The first one is direct messages. So you all do this today in Classic, in Gmail, or on your Classic mobile apps. The second one is Rooms, and the third one is bots. So I'll comb through those key pillars of the app. Rooms are one of the newest features that we launched with Chat. It gives you a way to center the conversation around a team, a project, an event, basically anything you want. Now, when you're talking in a team room, you're going to be talking about different topics. So conversation in rooms are threaded. So you can separate the everyday chit-chat from all the important stuff, and even separate all the important stuff out to keep context around the different conversations. Rooms are deeply integrated into G Suite. So for example, whenever you paste a Google Drive link, Chat will help you fix permission so everyone in the room can access the file. Similarly, if you use Google Groups for identity management, you can add a group to the room, and then anyone in the group can join the room whenever they want. So that's Rooms. The next big pillar we've added to the app is a bot platform. So you're all using G Suite, and you're obviously using a bunch of other third-party and even homegrown tools to get things done. So bots enable you to blend all the other tools you use with conversation. So just to give some concrete examples, let's say you use a CRM app with your sales team. You can use a CRM bot to make it so every time something moves down the sales pipeline or a sale closes, it notifies your sales team in their room where they can talk about it and talk about next steps. Or for example, maybe you use a task tracking app as a third-party tool. You can actually talk to the bot to tell it when you need to do something because you remembered from your conversation. So we have a number of integrations with third-party tools like Box, Asana, Jira, RingCentral. But really, where this bot platform also shines is custom bots. So we enable you as an IT administrator or even your users to create custom bots for for custom workflows. So to give an example there, maybe you're updating a spreadsheet with a bunch of tasks every single week. It's not fun. Maybe every week you're sending out a weekly status update email. That's also not fun. You can actually automate it so bots will do this for you. So you can take all the tedious things and remove it from your everyday work. So those are the two key new features of Hangouts Chat, Rooms and Bots. And we have a ton of users using the app and customers. And from what we've heard from our customers, there are a few key features that you're all missing. So today, we're excited to announce the launch of some of these key features. So the first one is external chat. So you will be able to send messages to people outside of your organization or create external rooms where you can add folks from outside of your organization to them. Now, what's great about the way external chat works is you don't have to worry about paying for another G Suite license or adding someone to your G Suite domain. You also don't need to worry about the management overhead of shared channels or multiple workspaces. You can literally talk to anyone with a Google account. So that means if they are a G Suite user, you can talk to them. If they're a Gmail user, you can talk to them. If they've signed up for a Google account with another email address, you can talk to them. So that's collectively over 1.5 billion people you can address out of the gate with Hangouts Chat. So that's who you can talk to, but we want to make sure that as you're talking to external people, you're more sensitive about what you're saying. So we're very security and privacy minded here. So what you'll clearly see in the UI is that whenever there's an external user or an external room, we clearly mark it in the UI so users can be extra careful about what they say. And of course, everything gives you control in G Suite. So if you don't want specific users talking externally, you can prevent that from happening. If you don't want external rooms to exist in your domain, you can also prevent that from happening. So that's external rooms. The next feature that we announced in the keynote yesterday, you might have all seen Amy's keynote, is chat in Gmail. So we're bringing chat into Gmail to replace Classic. So I'll talk a little bit about what this means in detail. The first is direct messages. The direct message experience you see today will not be changing. You will still have the little pop-ups in the bottom right, but we're actually turbocharging these direct messages with all the new features of chat. So for example, now you can upload any file type instead of just images and videos. Now you can share drive links, and you'll get a preview, and we'll help you fix permissions. Now you can edit messages if you've made a mistake. You can be more expressive using features like reactions. Or you can use Smart Reply to save time when you're on the go. So same great DM experience with a huge upgrade of new features. What you'll notice on the right side is that is where your roster lives. So what you'll see there is not only people, but we're bringing rooms and bots into Gmail as well. So this is an example of how you will experience rooms. They are a full screen experience inside of Gmail, so you can have informal conversation without ever leaving your email client. So that's the new chat in Gmail. The next feature we're excited to announce is a brand new standalone app. So today we have a Windows and Mac OS app. It does things like gives you an icon on your dock or start menu so you can open it from there. It also sends you notifications natively so you don't miss messages. We've done a complete overhaul of this app based on Chrome's progressive web app technology. So this is a more secure version of the app. Any single time Chrome updates, it updates. So because of that, it's also simpler. Your users don't get prompted to update. You don't need to worry about deploying new binaries out and keeping them up to date. All this happens behind the scenes. And the third thing this does is it will give you the ability to distribute the app to your users from the admin console using Chrome's deployment management tools. So you can put this on your users' desktops without them having to lift a finger. So that's the third new feature. The fourth is, as we've talked to customers, we've gotten some asks for a simpler way to transition. So in January of this past year, we sent an announcement out that by the end of the year, we will start transitioning folks from Classic over to Chat. And what we're going to talk about in a bit is how we're delivering a simpler way to transition to make it more seamless and enable you to do things like continue using Meet, but still turning off Classic Chat. So those new features are, we're super excited to announce them. We're going to tell you how you can get early access to them at the end. So what I'm going to tell you now is, what does this mean for you as admins? So there are 3 big changes happening for you as admins. The first one is a simplification in Google Vault. So for those of you that don't know, Vault is Google's retention and e-discovery solution. It lets you do things like set a retention rule to delete Mike's messages after 30 days, or put Wenjia on a litigation hold, or search and export specific messages. The way this works today is Gmail retention rules and holds protect Classic messages, and Chat retention rules and holds protect Chat messages. After talking to a bunch of customers, what we've realized is you're asking for more flexibility. You don't necessarily think about all these things bundled together. You'd like to set a different retention policy on direct messages, a different one on chat rooms, and a different one on email. So we're doing just this, and we're making a big simplification. Chat retention rules and holds will protect Classic messages and Chat messages everywhere. So you can be unequivocally sure that if you set a 30-day retention policy for a specific user, their data will be gone from all Chat clients, all Classic clients, and from Gmail. This will also give you more flexibility and allow you to set different rules for email, rooms, and direct messages. That's the first change we're making for administrators. The second change we're making, we will be turning on Chat for all Classic users. So one thing I want to stress is we are not going to change the default experience. Your users will still have Classic in Gmail. They will still have the Classic mobile apps. They will still have the Classic Chrome extension. The main change we're making here is that we are enabling users to use chat.google.com and the Chat mobile apps if they want to. The third change we're making is just a big simplification in the admin console itself. So today, Chat and Classic are 2 different services. There's different sets of settings. Some settings are duplicative between the 2 places. We're going to bring all of this together and deliver you a much simpler experience in the admin console to make management easier. These changes will roll out over the course of the next few months. So you might be thinking now, what does this mean for my users? So we've talked to so many customers, and we've heard the same message over and over again, that customers want to be in complete control and have flexibility as to when and how they do this transition. So we're delivering just that. We're going to give you a new switch in the admin console that can make your domain what we call a Chat primary domain. Now we're going to deliver you this setting, and you get to choose when you make this change. You can prep your domain however you want, prep your support staff, get everything ready. Basically, just take your time with this. And then when you're ready, you flip your domain over to become a Chat primary domain. When you do this, a couple things will happen for your users. The first thing will happen is Chat will replace Classic inside of Gmail. And again, like I talked about before, this isn't going to be a huge change for your users. The direct message experience is still as they experience it today, with all the great features of Chat brought right into it. And in addition to that, they can use rooms and bots. It's a complete upgrade. The second thing that will happen is your users' Classic mobile apps will show the screen on the left over here. Basically, it will tell them, this app no longer works. Click here to go to Chat. When they click that button, they will be brought to the Play Store or the App Store where they can download the app. If you use mobile device management, you can make this even simpler by deploying the app out to their phone, so they just click the button and they're chatting. The next thing is the Classic Chrome extension. So we're doing the same exact thing here. When your users open up the classic Chrome extension after you've flipped the switch, we will show a screen that looks very similar to that screen that you saw on the last slide. And it will direct them to install the new standalone app. And again, because of Chrome's deployment technologies, you can deploy this out to make this transition even more seamless. Now, one thing we are doing, though, is we are keeping the classic web app, hangouts.google.com, alive even after you flip the switch. We're doing this as more of an escape hatch. So in the event your users all of a sudden get panicked or worried or need to go back, they always have a way to get back to their old conversations and DMs in the old app. So that will still exist for the foreseeable future. So that's basically the way this whole thing will work for both admins and users. So next I'm going to pass it off to Wenjia, where she's going to talk about the migration experience, some questions and answers, and how you can get an early start.
Hi, everyone. My name is Wenjia. I'm also a product manager on Hangouts Chat. So before I get started into the second part of today's presentation, I just want to quickly recap a lot of the things that we've shared already. So one, we shared the launch, the announcement of 3 exciting new features. That is the new chat experience in Gmail, the ability to talk to external users, and the new standalone app. So for the second part of today's presentation, I'm going to dive into the details of the migration process and share with you tips on how to make this deployment smooth, both for you and your users. So to start off, I want to cover some common questions. So I know we're going to do Q&A at the end, but I thought I would share some of the pressing questions that we hear often from talking to a lot of our customers. And these questions fall under 2 categories. One is around history. So where do my old messages go after this migration? 2 is around phone calling and video calling. So let's start with the first one. Where do my messages go after the migration? Will I still have my old messages available? Do they migrate? The answer is yes. So assuming that you have chat turned on already, and I'm assuming that a lot of you do already, then all your recent one-on-one conversations will be there in chat, so you can continue those very easily. All of your other history will still be in Gmail, just like it is today, so you can search through Gmail to look for all your old classic messages. And as Mike mentioned, we're keeping hangouts.google.com around, so that's another place where you can go to look for all of your old messages. So what about group conversations? Do they migrate? Well, because we have hangouts.google.com around, you'll be able to continue any classic group conversations from this classic web app. So it's an opportunity to give users time to slowly migrate those group conversations naturally at their own pace, move them over to the new chat, probably to a chat room. So at this point, I think a lot of folks might be wondering, well, I'm moving my users over to the new chat, so everyone's going to be on the new chat, but I still have these group conversations in Classic. Am I going to miss notifications? Well, we have a great solution, which is the Classic Hangouts bot. This bot will notify you in chat of any missed conversations from Classic, including these group conversations. And the way it works is the following. If you look at the screen behind me, what it will do is the bot will show you a preview of the message in chat. You can click on the link. It will take you to Classic where you can answer that group message. Or even better, I mean, this is a great opportunity for you to say, hey, let's move this over to chat. So that's around history and messages. The next set of questions are around voice calling and video calling. So one question we get is, can I still make phone calls after I transition? Absolutely. So if your users used to make phone calls, send or receive SMS, check voicemail, they will still be able to do so after the transition via Google Voice. And actually, yesterday, we just announced the launch of Google Voice for all G Suite users. So what that means is the ability to manage voice in the cloud for admins to have a way to have more control and distribution over phone numbers, for users to have a phone number that they can use on any device, and chat is building integrations with voice as well. So what that means is you and I can be in a one-on-one conversation, and then I can decide to call you directly from chat. I can call any phone number as long as it's something that you have put in your profile or something that I have under my contacts. So what that means is a quick, easy escalation to go from chat to voice without ever having to switch contexts. The next question, and the final question that we get often, is around video. Can I still make video calls after I migrate? Yes. So with chat, you can join online meetings using Hangouts Meet. Today, you can do that by easily sharing a Meet link. We're also building and launching more integrations with chat and Meet later this year. And what that means is, in a one-on-one conversation, I can easily call you via video. And that will ring your phone and it will immediately put both of us into the video conversation together. If you're in a team room and having a team conversation, you can do the same and immediately move your team from a group chat into a video conference. And the reason why we think it's important to build these integrations is because both chat and video meetings are a way to bring teams closer together, help them feel more connected. And especially in today's age where teams are becoming more distributed and often working remotely, we know it's important to find ways to make it easy and seamless to move from one modality of communication to another, and doing so without losing context of what you were talking about both before and after. So those are some of the common questions that we've heard. And I'm going to switch gears a bit and go into some migration tactics. Specifically, I'm going to be covering a 6-step checklist, very simple, about how to best deploy chat and transition your users to chat. You don't need to take notes or even take pictures. We are recording this session, so you'll have all of this available to you to watch again. And we're also sending everyone more information about this later as well. So to start off, I just want to remind everyone about why we're transitioning to chat and why it's beneficial for everyone. So for admins, this means less overhead and management. Instead of having to keep track of 2 products with 2 different settings and policies, you now have to worry about just one. So it makes your lives easier. For your end users, it means bringing all of your users into one communication place so they can feel confident about being able to reach anyone. And in addition to all of that, we are investing a lot in chat. We're building a lot of exciting new features. So it means that everyone gets access to those features as well. I also want to say that we've taken a lot of time to think about how we can be good partners to you through this process. And here's how we've thought about how to support you in terms of what you need. For admins, we've thought about providing a deployment guide. This is step-by-step tips and guidance on how to deploy chat. For your end users, we'll be providing email template, a learning article, and videos to just break down the whole process and demystify this transition and change. And just in general, we're listening to your feedback. we're open to change and we can be quick to adapt. So deployment checklist. So again, 6 steps, super easy. There are about 5 of those steps that are around preparation and what to do beforehand, and 1 specifically related to deployment. So step 1 is to have a plan. All successful migrations start with a plan. Make sure to get everyone on board with the plan, and also just be in tune with your company's culture for these types of changes. And then once you've done all of that, set a date. This is the date on which you're going to move all your users in sync to this chat primary experience that Mike just described. And make sure to set a date far enough in advance so you have time to prepare everyone in your organization. Step 2, turn on chat. So this is important because if you're going to move your users to chat, then you should make sure that this product service is available and turned on. So we are going to be helping you with this. As Mike mentioned, over the next few months, we'll be turning on chat for all classic users, but there's no reason why you should wait for that change to happen. Go ahead and turn on chat today if you haven't done so already. Take the time to get familiar with the product, get familiar with the features, and also get some of your users to try chat. These early users who use chat, we find often become the influencers who can help with the migration later on. Step 3, spread the word. So now that you've decided to do this migration, communicate this to everyone in your company. That means letting all your end users know about this change, preparing your support team and help desk so that they can answer questions about this change. Use chat to help with the communication. We've had customers create rooms to answer questions. And again, we are helping you with this communication as well. We will be sending an email template that you could use to send to your users, as well as videos and plenty of other assets that you could use to help with this communication effort. Step 4. So step 4 is really important. This is around making sure you deploy chat ahead of time, ahead of the migration date. And this is why it's important. On the migration date, you will disable most of the classic apps except for hangouts.google.com, and you're going to be moving everyone over to the new chat. So to minimize the chances of your users missing notifications, it's really important that they already have the chat app installed and they're logged in so that they're just ready to go and they won't miss anything. So what it means for mobile, making sure your users download the iOS or Android applications on their phone. If you have any sort of mobile device management at your disposal, definitely use it. For your Chrome app extension users, making sure that they download the standalone app ahead of time as well and logged in. Now, the last preparation step is around video and voice. So, Classic is currently a bundle of 3 different products. It's got chat, it's got video, it's got phone calling. We've moved that so that now we have dedicated product experiences for each, which means that if you want to take advantage of the full communication suite, you should make sure that in addition to chat, your users also have access to voice and to video calling. And like I mentioned earlier, we are heavily investing in building integrations between Meet and chat, voice and chat. There are also integrations between Meet and voice. So it just makes a lot of sense to have all 3 of these products together so you can take full advantage of the communication ecosystem. So you've done the 5 preparation steps, and now you're on your migration day and you're ready to move your users over. So what you'll do is the following. You'll go to your admin console and you'll select the chat preferred setting. Selecting this setting makes your domain a chat primary domain. It will disable all of your major classic applications except hangouts.google.com, and it's going to redirect your users to the new chat. And this is what's going to happen. In Gmail, Classic will be replaced by the new chat. On mobile, your classic mobile apps will be disabled, and your users will be redirected to download the new chat app. On the Chrome extension or Chrome app, that will also be disabled, and your users will also be redirected to download the new chat. So those are the 6 key steps to take. It's a simple checklist for deploying chat to your organization. So if you're thinking, okay, I get this, this is easy to do, and I'm ready to do it today, then I have some good news to share. We are announcing an accelerated transition program. This program is an opportunity for you to get a head start on migrating your users to the new chat. And on top of it, it's also an opportunity to get early access to the new features we just announced. So domains who join this program will get early access to the new chat in Gmail experience. They'll have the ability to talk to external users, and their users will be able to download the new standalone application. You should apply to join today if you are excited to get a head start, you like chat, you want all your users to use chat, and you're open to giving us feedback as well. So you can apply today by going to g.co/upgrade to chat. We just announced a blog post on this program. So those of you in the room are some of the first to hear about it in person. So if you're interested, please do apply and let us know if you have any questions. Thank you.